Amatakwipi. Betu Washday. Hello, my relatives. Today is a good day. It always starts out that way for me. Sometimes there are efforts in world events that kind of dampen the day, but it doesn't ruin it. I imagine when we all start going hungry here next year, it'll start being a little bit bleaker, but when that day comes, we'll deal with it. In the meantime, we got to work towards our freedom. And the Republic of Lakota is bound and determined to hang on to the vestiges of our matriarchal society. And once again, I want to talk about patriarchy. Patriarchal systems that the world has known for over 6,000 years now. And like I've said constantly, that coincidentally is when his story began. History. You know, the patriarchal world can be summed up. Well, first of all, let me preface it by saying people are looking for solutions to the dilemmas of today and yesterday and tomorrow. You have to understand some of the basics of patriarchy. And you've heard me say this before, but it bears repeating because you're not listening. Patriarchs are by themselves. Okay? They've created the pyramid. The patriarch is on top, whether it's his religions or his governments, his educational systems, his social systems. Everything about him is a pyramid, and he's by himself up on top. He even started that way in his own creation story. But the point is, he's on top, all by himself. And it's fear, because he's looking down around him, and he sees that people want to get to where he's at. And so out of that fear, he institutes control. And once he has instituted control, it only begins to manifest itself. Fear, control, control, fear. And so his labyrinth of bureaucracy results, all mini pyramids as you go along. And the only way a woman can become part of the patriarchal world is to become a brainwashed patriarch. It's that simple. They also have to strive for the top of the pyramid and forget about all their beauty. Now, with that fear, of course, he's got a control, and the control has to get wider and wider because of the fear. Couple that with the fact he's never graduated from the cave. Patriarchs still believe you settle a misunderstanding with a club, albeit a very sophisticated club now, as we all witnessed when the Chinese submarine shot off that missile off of the coast of Los Angeles. Quite a feat. Says something to the rest of the world. And, believe me, to the patriarchs of the United States of America. But think about it. There isn't a patriarchal regime in the world that does not use the caveman mentality. It's force. They force you to be the way they want you to act. They use police. Okay, they call them police. They still have guns, clubs. Why can't you see that? They call themselves civilized, these patriarchs. They call themselves civilized. And in order to be the ultimate top of the pyramid, you have to be God. Now think about God. God creates life. Well, that's what some of these scientists are doing now. Some scientists are destroying life. Other scientists are trying to create it. Artificial life. The whole patriarchal system is insane. Why do they want to be God? And they don't even know how to get along with life on earth. They don't know how to get along with the air they breathe or the water they drink. Now, let's look at how patriarchs continue to exist. They continue to exist simply because of growth. That's their economic system, that's their religious system, that's their educational system. That's every one of their systems is dependent on growth. Economic growth feeds all the other growths. You have the growth so that you can have profit, so that you can have wealth. In order to have economic growth, or any other kind of growth, you have to have population growth. $6.5 billion people and counting. Population experts have stated that the Earth reached its human capacity in the 1840s. Coincidentally, that's when the corporation was born. That's another matter, though. Here we have what science believes to be an orb revolving around the sun, hanging around in space, which in reality, science, Western science, has proven in the 1970s through sinking a shaft in Greenland, of all places, a few miles down into the earth and bringing up data for a number of years, and finally satisfied him that the earth is a living being, a living matter. It's living matter. Anything is alive that gives birth to volcanoes, the earth. It gives birth to the earth itself. And from that, fauna, trees, insects, etc., etc., etc. And yet, she's overpopulated. And they still depend on growth. They still depend on growth. Now let's look at his story, history. Every regime that's been recorded, every powerful regime that's been recorded in history during patriarchy, the existence of patriarchy, has made the same mistakes over and over and over again. And there's books on it. It blows me away that even the intellectuals recognize, some of them recognize it. They write books about it, comparing the United States of America to the fall of the Roman Empire, to the British Empire, to the Soviet Union Empire. Those are just the recent ones. The Third Reich. On and on. So you see, patriarchy. Nothing changes. He utilizes the clubs every time the empire begins to sink. Who's going to be next? From the Ming Dynasty to the present, back to China? Is that the way we're going? A revolving door of empires? Excuse me. I'm wondering when the people are going to come up with these elementary conclusions that patriarchy doesn't work. History proves it. History proves it. Look at South Africa. Has it changed anything? Color is about all it changed. But the economic and social and educational dynamics are remaining the same down there, at least according to their own statistics. And then look at the United States of America. Look at yourselves. Look in the mirror. But look all around you. Look all around the world. So patriarchy, just by its elementary nature, is a failed experiment in the human condition. What is the alternative? Well, matriarchy existed for tens of thousands of years, if not millions of years, before patriarchy reared its ugly head. And what is matriarchy? Do you remember? Well, indigenous people, we still have a grasp. We still know. Ask the Kogi in the Andes. Ask the Inuit in the Arctic. Ask the Hopi. Ask the Iroquois Confederation. Ask some Lakota. We understand matriarchy and natural law. It is natural law. Remember that. Doksha, okay.